Good day traders, welcome to the weekly market fix where we bring you price predictions and chart analyses of all your favorite crypto, commodity, indices and forex instruments. This week we once again discuss some crypto scenarios and also excellent opportunities on some of the indices and forex pairs. Please be so kind to support our channel by hitting that subscribe button. Just a brief look at the disclaimer before we get started. Kicking off this week's technical analysis, we will start by looking at Bitcoin, and I'll present two possible scenarios that I can see potentially playing out here. So after that head and shoulders target were reached, we can see that we have not yet made new lows. In fact, we are actually still just above major support in terms of that diagonal support. And the only worrying thing here is the fact that we have rejected that daily 200 SMA, so that is not too bullish. But I think important thing here to keep in mind is that as long as we can stay above this level where we are trading around about now, that's at 35,500, there's a potential for a move higher. So the initial move higher could then be to retest that level that we've previously tested, and that would be at the current weekly R1 at 40,000. Rejection from that level to the downside could then see price move lower back towards that previous head and shoulders target at 29,700. We'll just say 30,000, just to round that level off. And then of course let's say the penultimate bearish scenario at this stage would be a retest of the yearly pivot, which currently remains untested for the year, and that is sitting at 20,600. So that is something to keep in mind. So there is still quite a bit of downside potential. Looking at possible bullish scenarios, in terms of a bullish scenario, the first thing that would need to happen, of course, is we need to regain that yearly R1 pivot. So that is the one sitting there at 37,300. And then once we regain that level, we need to retest that daily 200 SMA. That will probably coincide with the monthly pivot, very important level for Bitcoin currently, 41,800. And a break above that level will then potentially see a bullish scenario playing out where we retest the neckline, which is also the yearly R2 coincidentally, and that is at 36,000. And that will perhaps then see another retest of that daily 200 SMA and monthly pivot at 41,900. And from there, we can then expect, if a bullish price action does occur, we can then expect a move higher. And the initial target would be in the vicinity of the daily 100 SMA and monthly R1 pivot. So that would be around about 53,500. Looking at Ethereum, Ethereum's just giving us a slightly more bullish picture here. Although you could potentially argue that we do have this head and shoulders forming. I'll just quickly highlight that for you to see what that would look like. So that would be something like that. So of course, if that is the case, that means, quite a bit of downside. In fact, that could see price as low as 500 and below. But just not looking at that right now, just considering our trend and looking at price rejecting and currently finding support from the daily 100 SMA, we can see that last candle I have here is a bullish candle. We are still below that important horizontal support level of 2,500, which also coincides with our new weekly pivot. So for a bullish scenario, I'd like to see price break above that. That would perhaps then retest that left shoulder level, coinciding with the new monthly pivot, and that's all at 2,860. A break of that would, of course, invalidate this head and shoulders and seeing price attempt to go back to the previous all-time highs, but probably hitting some overhead resistance from that monthly R1 at 3,950. Just keep in mind, again, that the head and shoulders neckline level, that's sitting at our weekly S1 about 2,070, so a break below that we'll then quickly see a move to retest that daily 200 SMA, and a break below that, of course, has quite a bit of downside. So keep those levels in mind when making your trading choices. Having a look now at gold, just considering the current US inflation, gold has seen quite a good run, and I am still expecting this bullish run to continue. As we see on our daily or higher time frame chart, we had this like bull flag that has been breaking, breaking out quite aggressively. I do expect a pullback at some stage. A good level for that pullback would be at about the monthly pivot, and that is also an important horizontal level that's sitting at 1,860. So at some stage, probably I'm expecting a pullback that will still keep that new bullish channel in check, and that can then see price continue higher towards the levels of 1,950. That's an important overhead resistance level, and then of course even higher towards that 1,950 level. That is the level that I would be the major overhead resistance level that I would be expecting to be retested. So keep in mind for this week that weekly pivot level, that's at 1,000. Well, just let's say that's about 2,000 at the 2,000, well, 1,900 level. So that is the level to watch for this week. As a break below that could see that correction, and any bullish price action from that level could see the continuation towards that 1,950 level. Looking now at our indices, and I'm going to look at that is the DAX. We can see that our DAX still trending upwards. We do have what appears to be some kind of a rising wedge potentially forming here, meaning if that does break down, and especially if it breaks below our monthly pivot, that's at 15,300, that could see a correction towards that support zone at the monthly S1, and that is at 15,000. So I'm just rounding that up, but I can see that's at that 15,000 level. In terms of the bullish scenario, as long as we can stay above that 15,500 level, I'd say, that can then see another test of that upper diagonal resistance, taking price towards that important level of the yearly R1 pivot at 15,700. So that would be a bullish target if we continue our bullish price action into the week. Looking at the Dow, similar picture. We can see we have previously tested at the yearly R1, and that's where I actually put out that caution level for you guys. But it's possible that we retest that level. That's at 34,700. Of course, if we can break back above that, that will open up the resistance level of the monthly R1 and weekly R3 at 35,300. But if we do reject from our yearly R1, I'd say that monthly pivot at 34,000 would be up next. That would be a test. A break below that could see a deeper correction towards that level at 33,700. Looking now at our NASDAQ. NASDAQ currently presenting a very nice consolidation breakout opportunity. So keep a close eye on that level. We can see that we do have on lower time frames a false break currently on the NASDAQ. And we have price currently trading back into that consolidation zone. If price will break out again from the zone, you can see we are still very much bullish with price trading above the 50 daily SMA and 50 above the 100 and the 100 above the 200. So very much bullish overall. But a break above that consolidation zone, the consolidation zone will see that breakout, possibly leading to a target of the monthly R1 overhead diagonal as well, 14,100. Whereas a bearish break will see price break back into that previous broadening formation level, and that could see a correction as deep as that monthly S1, perhaps at 13,100. Just having a look at some of our Forex pairs, and let's have a look at the USDJPY. You can see that I'm actually quite bullish on this pair, and as you can see, we have made an attempt to break out from this larger overhead diagonal that is looking for a price continuation to the upside. But if that continues to be rejected, I think we will probably first see a retest of that 50 daily SMA, also important horizontal support level currently, that's the 108.9. If price do see bullish price action from that, I think we will see another attempt at that overhead diagonal and see price, of course, especially if it takes out that high from last week at 110 that will see price continue onwards with this overall bullish trend. Looking at the New Zealand dollar USD, just quickly, we had that very large inverted head and shoulders pattern that I've identified previously. So that is putting this whole chart into a bullish mode, and currently we are in a very large consolidation phase. So yeah, keep an eye out for a bullish break. I'm expecting a continuation of price here, and this, you can see this almost acts as some type of inverted head and shoulders as well, where we have this consolidation, which would be like a left shoulder, a head, and then a right shoulder. So keep an eye on that outside at 0.725 level. As a break above that, you then see that overarching bullish pattern and trend continuing to play out. Looking at the Australian dollar USD, currently we have a small head and shoulders in place here. We did see a test of that neckline, and another break below that level of 0.768 would be a very high probability move towards the target of that head and shoulders at the monthly S2, coinciding with the daily 200 SMA at 0.754. However, if price breaks back above the monthly pivot at 0.775, that will then retest the upper right shoulder at 0.780. A break above that invalidates the head and shoulders pattern and will perhaps set up a new target and a bullish breakout towards that level of the monthly R2 at 0.797. Looking at the Euro USD, another inverted head and shoulders that was following up from that normal standard or traditional head and shoulders that did play out. This inverted head and shoulders target is quite high at 1.264, so that's something that might play out over the coming weeks, months. At this stage, we have retested the neckline, and we are seeing some bullish price action and price rejecting that level. So that level is currently acting as support. So bullish price action can see price continue higher, perhaps for this week initial targets, weekly R1 at 1.226, and even that monthly R1 at 1.2311. Of course, a break deeper back into that below that neckline, we'll see a correction again, probably towards that important level here at 1.205. Then just something I want to show you guys, for the guys looking at the USDZAR. I'm going to go to the weekly time frame and perhaps even to the monthly time frame. We can see that the ZAR has strengthened quite a bit to the US dollar, and currently testing that 10-year, that decade diagonal support line. So, and yeah, just looking back at the previous levels of support and resistance, you can see this is quite a strong level of support, just judging from those previous price action from this level. So yeah, possible area for those guys looking to hedge against the US dollar. I am expecting at least some bullish price action from this level and a bounce to at least perhaps that level at 1450. We really hope you enjoyed this special edition of the weekly market fix. We would love to hear from you, so please send us an email or leave us a comment below. Until next time, this is John Jacobs for RMD Trader. Remember, trade smart and trade successful.